Just look in my eyes and you will see Russian paradise.
Just look in my eyes and you will see Russian paradise. Just look in my eyes and you will see Russian paradise. Come on guys, just look in my eyes and you will see Russian paradise.
Привет, bonjour, salut tout le monde. Hello. Welcome to Eastern Europe. Yeah, so I thought I should make a video on a bunch of things. Yeah. Let's talk about Russia, Ukraine, since I'm literally here. And we'll talk about Canada, the convoy. We're definitely going to talk about our greatest allies, Israel, and the international banking cartel who love us so much. And I also want to talk about, had a message from a Chinese Canadian. Seems a little conflicted because his family's been in Canada for close to 200 years. He's Chinese. But, you know, he's conflicted between China and Canada. So we'll talk about a bunch of stuff, but also what is the end goal? These wild dogs in Eastern Europe. You got to get used to wild dogs and get attacked by them. We'll see. We're going to walk around a corner. And I've had a dog attack there. We'll see if the dogs come after me this time. Anyways, I want you guys to really admire the scenery, right? Because this is the fruits of the Soviet Union, right? This is communism, right? You just get everything's kind of torn down, and oh, it's a really cute dog. So yeah, let's talk about, like, this Russia-Ukraine thing is total nonsense when you stop and think about it. Provoked by NATO. Putin's the bad guy. Putin invades Ukraine. Really, because why? It's provoked by NATO. And Ukraine is a mess. And I'm sorry, any honest Ukrainian will tell you how evil Ukraine is, how evil Ukrainians are. So, my view is very simple. Is Putin the good guy? I don't think so. I think it's the elites versus the people. I think that it's the poor versus the rich. So where we are right now, if we were to go 200 kilometers that way, you'll run into the Russian army. I'm literally on the Ukrainian, I'm between a city called Tiraspol, which was actually originally a Greek colony founded by the ancient Greeks, and Odessa. So I'm just 100 kilometers, a couple hundred kilometers maybe at the most, away from the Russian line. So, and if Ukraine this could become a battleground. I have no idea. But all this, it's all bullshit. There's much more. We have to look at it on different levels. We have to look at it 10 moves ahead, 2 moves ahead. What's the chessboard telling us, right? Who does this benefit? What's going on? And let me say that NATO, we have no business here, okay? America, Canada, the Commonwealth, we have to fix our own countries. We don't have, like, look at the state, look at our citizens, look at our economies. You want to start a war with Russia? This is nonsense. For Ukraine, look, History 101. the first capital of the Russian kingdom was Ukraine. It was Kiev. Okay, Russia is literally fighting for their own land back. Okay, number one. This is the original capital of the Russian kingdom, Kiev. Okay, they're Kievan Rus. It's where the name Russia comes from. This isn't our war. Okay, look at Afghanistan, and this is, man, this pisses me right off. You know, when 9/11 happened, I was about 16 years old. 16, yeah, about 16. And I was fired up. I was a sergeant in the Royal Canadian Army Cadets. And yeah, I was fired up for war. So were me and my buddies. We were all, you know, but then you start thinking about it. The war made absolutely no sense. Okay? Absolutely no sense. And but my buddies, you know, I remember talking to them. I'm going to be honest with you guys. My buddies just wanted medals. One of my friends, you know, why do you want to go to Afghanistan? He literally quoted Full Metal Jacket. He goes, I want to be the first kid on my block with his first confirmed kill.
I wanted to meet interesting and stimulating people of an ancient culture and kill them. I wanted to be the first kid on my block to get a confirmed kill.
My best friend, like a brother to me, he went over there. You know, we had a big falling out. I lost me and all my army buddies. We all had a big falling out, and I walked away from the army. I walked away from Army Cadets, and they all joined the Reg Force. I knew Afghanistan was nonsense, and you know, my best friend was blown up in Afghanistan. He survived. 2 of his buddies were blown to bits in front of him. He was blown about 10 meters, like 30 feet through the air, lost hearing in one of his ears. And when he came to, he didn't know if he was alive or dead. He said he was in this weird state where he was in shock, obviously, and all he could see was this girl, a female medic, who somehow had the courage to pull her shit together and start collecting body parts of the dead of the bodies that just blew up and piecing them together. And he eventually snapped out of his daze and started helping her too. And it's just a shit show, you know. And his rescue party was actually on it, was another one of my friends. You know, a guy that I didn't, well, you know, we were like brothers, but we hated each other. You know, we were always rivaling back when we were cadets. The guy that I hated, he hated me, but at the same time, you know, it was a love-hate relationship. And I can't tell you how glad I was when I found out that he was actually on the rescue party to go rescue my best friend. Because I knew, as much as we hated each other, we still trusted each other. I don't know, it's a weird relationship. So here are more fruits of the communism, abandoned, I guess that's some kind of mill. Anyways, when my buddy got back from Afghanistan, you know, we hadn't talked in a while, but while he was being airlifted, I got a call from his dad. He was being airlifted to a German hospital, and you know, it was, I can't even explain the feeling, because we left on such bad terms, and I was just glad that he was alive. And I don't know, maybe a month after he got back, we went to a bar, and I had this whole speech just ready to yell at him. I just had the way we parted, the things he did to me, big betrayal. And when I saw him at the bar, I just saw a broken man. And I just sat there and listened. And I never yelled at him. I never brought up any of my past issues with him. And he didn't cry about being blown up. He didn't cry that his friends were blown to pieces in front of him. He cried about the raped children. He cried about the drugs, the drug dealing. And he cried because he couldn't stop it. And it was his job as a military police officer to stop that. And he couldn't. He was ordered not to. He had to let allies of Canada, allies of NATO, rape little children. That's right. On our tax dollars. Canadian tax dollars were financing the rape of children. Yeah, this is where the dogs can come out, and we got attacked last time. Oh, here comes. Oh, these ones are kind of cute, but there's a big one somewhere. Oh shit, there he is. Yeah, as long as you mind your business, it's all right. But this doesn't happen in Canada. We don't have wild dogs. It's all very controlled. Look at the soil here. Look at the black soil. This is the best soil in Europe, in Ukraine, Moldova, Romania. This was all ancient Greek. This is where the Greeks used to grow their bread. When Socrates was eating his daily bread, it was grown from fields from here. It's pretty amazing. The city Tiraspol is a Greek name, right? Taras, and then the word polis, city. Anyways, so I had to sit there in that bar listening to all these stories of raped children, drug dealing, all this shit going on in Afghanistan. I bit my tongue. My heart was broken just looking at the state of my friend. He was messed up on painkillers. But then what happened? Years later, he ended up getting paraded around by Justin Trudeau. And I had to sit there and watch all these Facebook photos of him being praised as a war hero. He got a free vacation, I think 8 months paid vacation by the taxpayers around the world, like Cairo, Prague. The guy went everywhere. Because he was a hero, right? Hero. Who never bothered to tell the Canadian people the shit he cried about at the bar when we were together. So these wars are all bullshit. All of them. We lost in Afghanistan. I don't even know how many trillions of dollars it cost North America, only to leave billions, almost $100 billion worth of arms given to the Taliban, including our databases. See, when our troops were in Afghanistan, they were collecting the eye retinas, like this, scanning the eyeballs. And now the Taliban, who are now working with the Chinese, which we'll talk about later, they now have all the NATO soldiers' eye scans. They know who our soldiers are. They didn't just get our military equipment, they got intelligence. So this was the biggest, man, people should be shot for what happened in Afghanistan. And who was making money? Private corporations, military industrial complex, mercenary groups, black operations. And I promise you, The guys our soldiers were really fighting, the guys really laying those IEDs and blowing up our men, were all private contract mercenaries to keep the war going, to keep the money flowing to the right people. I promise you, we weren't fighting Taliban. Our own governments, through black operations, were financing mercenaries to kill our own people to keep this war going. We were fighting our own people for corporations. Okay, the enemy's not the CIA. The enemy is not even Mossad. There are people in Mossad. There are people in the CIA. But it's really the private corporations that do the private contracting. These are the people you want. There are a lot of patriots in the CIA. The CIA is not as big of a deal as people think. It's these private companies. Anyways, so is Putin the good guy? A lot of people are asking me. Look, Putin works for Israel. I wish it wasn't the case. I want to believe in Putin, but he's not dead. We can't afford another war. As North Americans, as people from the Commonwealth, we have to clean up our own countries. We need to bring our factories home. We need to build internal economies. We have to educate our youth. For God's sake, we have to educate our youth. Our youth are beyond broken, especially after this COVID bullshit. We have to get our youth fixing things, getting their hands dirty, building houses, working with electrical mechanics. We have to get them operating drones. We have to be teaching our youth. We have to be building our own microchips, computer chips. All that crap needs to be done on the home front. We need to be building our cars at home. We have no business in Ukraine. Don't cry over Ukraine. If you knew what Ukrainian people are like right now, what's happening here is a bunch of Ukrainian refugees have just come through. They've just come through, and the guy in the town next to me gave his apartment to a Ukrainian family. They literally stole all his stuff, stole his TV, stole anything of value, sold it all in the streets, and then left for Romania or Poland. And if you hear how the Ukrainians are treating the girls at the salon here, you know, the people here all speak, they're all, you know, they speak a little bit of English, Russian, and because we border Romania, there's a lot of Romanians. So these girls here will speak Russian to the Ukrainians instead of Romanian, thinking that they're doing them a favor. And these Ukrainians just spit on these girls and say, "Don't speak to me in that swine language. Speak to me in Ukrainian." Yeah, like these people here. You know, it's just bullshit. The Ukrainians, look, they're not innocent people. Ukraine is a cesspool of human trafficking, murder, money laundering. It's not a nice country. And all these Europeans, all these Ukrainians, they're loving Putin. Putin just gave them all passes to the European Union. They're all just running to Poland, Hungary, going to richer countries now. Yeah, take a look at the roads here. This is what's coming, America. So yeah, this we have no business in Ukraine. Don't fall for it. This is a Russian problem. Let Russia deal with it. NATO, if you haven't noticed, they're destroying us. They're destroying the Western world. And we couldn't fight in Afghanistan, and we sure as hell can't fight in Ukraine. So, oh man, I don't even know what to say. We have to stay home. We have to fix our own countries. Australia needs to fix Australia. England, Britain needs to fix Britain. Canada needs to fix Canada. And America, the United States, needs to fix the United States. So, what's the end goal? What's the end game? Well, the Jews, at least the mouthpiece for the Jews, the one and only Henry Kissinger, he has openly declared that, well, I guess you can call them the Jews, which, or the East India Trading Company. You can, whatever, the banking cartel. They're moving their seat of operations from the Atlantic to the Pacific. And that's not me saying it. That's them. They're saying it. What does that mean? It means they're done with the West. The fleas have had their fill. They need a new host. The vampires have sucked all the blood out of the West, at least North America, and they're moving on. To where? Well, to China, to the Pacific, is what Henry Kissinger said. And you can listen to his own words, don't listen to me.
China spelled and wrote initiative in seeking to connect China to Central Asia and eventually to Europe will have the practical significance of shifting the world's center of gravity from the Atlantic to the Pacific, and will involve the cultures of Eurasia, each of whom will have to decide what relationship to this vision they will seek, and so will the United States. This is why many of us urged the United States to join the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank when it was proposed by China.
And wherever this guy goes, understand that he is the voice of the banking cartel. He is their front man. Trump worked with him. They all work for him. So don't believe this Russia good guy, Russia bad guy, America good guy, America bad guy. It is the elites versus the people. Okay, and there's a war on our culture. There's a war on who we are as a people, what we stood for, our religion. Okay? And everyone's anti-religion. Oh, religion's bad, religion's bad. Let me tell you something. There's nothing more important than religion. Okay? Nothing. What does religion mean? Religios. What does that mean? What is the Latin root to the word religion that all these people are against? Well, religion has the word lege in it. And if you know Latin, religios, okay, it means law. Okay, that's what it means. Religion is our law. Okay, it is more specifically, it comes from the word to bind together. Lege. What are Roman legions called? Lege, legions. Roman soldiers marched in legions, leges, because they were bound together. Ligaments bind your bones together. So this word religios, religion, law, it's what binds us together as a people. And in the West, in North America, Australia, Commonwealth, we don't have our religion anymore, our religios. It has been destroyed. We have nothing to bind us together. And that's what they've destroyed. And divided, we become conquered. And that's what's happened. So, this Russia-Ukraine thing, look, I'm here. This is the front lines. Just over that hill, if we keep going, you will, if I drive for 2 hours, I'll run into the Russian army. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. So anyways, let's talk about what's this really about. Actually, let's first talk about, I had a message from a Chinese Canadian. And he's conflicted because while he's Chinese, born in Canada, family lived in Canada for almost 200 years, he can't help but feel conflicted.